If you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Tell me what you saw inside.
Yeah, I was just about like 30 feet from Trump, and then I saw the people that had been shot.
Lying on the rooftop, hidden in plain sight, and aiming at the former American president with an AR-15. Just when you thought you knew everything about Crooks, Trump's alleged shooter, and the orientation of the shooting, a series of newly revealed secrets will turn everything around.
Former President Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania, and they told us they had no communication with the Secret Service until after the gunfire started. The SWAT team saw the shooter, they recognized him as suspicious, even took pictures of him. None of the concerns, though, had a chance of reaching decision makers before Trump took the stage because of what these men and women described as failures of planning and communication.
How did the shooter manage to reach the nearby building's rooftop without getting caught? Did he act alone? Or was he backed by a political organization, or perhaps accomplices? Stick around to learn the spine-tingling details about Crooks, sending shockwaves through the investigation. On the warm evening of July 13, 2024, the Pennsylvania rally was underway with full spirits and enthusiasm. The ex-president, Donald Trump, took the stage and began addressing the rally-goers. Behind the stage, a large screen displayed Trump's role in border crossings. Just when he turned a bit to his right to look at the screen, Trump heard a whooshing sound across his ear, and in an instant, he was knocked down.
Take a look at what happened.
Trump was shot in his right ear, but he survived the shooting. Secret Service agents rushed to the stage and took cover to protect Trump as more bullets continued to pass. Moments later, Trump's shooter was shot down by a secret sniper positioned 135 meters away from the stage on a building's rooftop. Before the shooter was taken down, he had already claimed the life of 50-year-old Fire Chief Corey Comparator and seriously injured two others, David Dutch and James Copenhaver. 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks came from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, which was 43 miles from the site of the shooting. Crooks graduated from Bethel Park High School in 2022, where he was seen as a bright student, receiving a $500 prize for math and science. Due to his good grades, Crooks was well liked by his teachers.
He was quiet, but whenever he was asked a question, he was always very polite about it. He knew what he was talking about, and so it was never something that he was rude to teachers. Like I said, my history teacher loved him, and my history teacher was a great person. I never doubt his judgment, so, that was what was shocking for me, was seeing someone who had been seen as such a good person in class have this outcome. It was just a shock to me.
While in high school, Crooks attempted to enroll in the rifle team but was immediately declined due to his poor shooting skills. Crooks' inclination toward guns and shooting was evident from his membership at the Clairton Sportsman's Club, a local shooting club. For over a year, the club has several types of gun ranges, including a high-power rifle facility with targets extending to 171 meters. At school, Crooks was seen as a loner and a person with a conflicting personality. His classmates recalled him as a quiet but weird kid. Crooks' appearance and awkward behavior often led to him being bullied. According to his classmates, Crooks was apparently a quiet and harmless kid, but no one knew what was going on in his mind.
He was bullied almost every day.
In what way? Can you explain?
He would sit alone at lunch. He was just an outcast, and you know how kids are nowadays, so.
Crooks also worked in the kitchen of a local nursing home, caring for elderly people. According to the staff of the nursing home, Crooks had passed a background check and had nothing questionable in his records. Crooks was a registered Republican. At the age of 17 in 2021, Crooks also donated $15 to Act Blue, a liberal campaign group. According to the investigations, the weapon used in the shooting by Crooks was an AR-15 rifle, which was originally bought legally by Crooks' father at least 6 months ago. Besides Thomas Matthew Crooks, two other suspects have surfaced, Kenan Hooper and Maxwell Urich. The three of them have almost the same facial features, making the identification of the real shooter far from easy.
Chairman, thank you for hosting this hearing. Colonel Paris, you're the commissioner of the Pennsylvania State Police Department?
Yes, sir, I am.
And your testimony, sir, is that approximately 25 minutes, and won't hold you to the exacts, but approximately 25 minutes before the first shots were fired, that local law enforcement officers identified Crooks as suspicious?
As suspicious, yes, sir.
And what was it that led those officers to conclude that Crooks was suspicious?
My understanding was that he was milling about and he stood out to them because he never made his way to a point of ingress to the venue.
With respect to him being suspicious, were there other folks who were also in the crowd identified as suspicious by law enforcement?
I have been briefed that, yes, there were multiple individuals, which would be consistent with normal operations for a detail like this that are identified as suspicious.
Can we take that as a single-digit number of other folks?
The number that I was briefed on was single-digit, but I can't say definitively that I was.
What number were you briefed on, Colonel?
Excuse me?
What number were you briefed on?
I believe I was briefed on an additional 3 individuals.
Okay, so Crooks plus 3.
As suspicious, yes, sir.
Except for Crooks, both Hooper and Urich had been involved in a 2017 Trump protest altercation with the police. Hooper and Urich pleaded guilty to simple assault and resisting arrest, and were jailed for 3 to 12 months. Kenan Hooper was also present at the July 13th Trump rally. Following the assassination attempt at the recent Trump rally, Hooper was arrested by police officers, perhaps a second suspect after Crooks. Although the reason for his arrest is still unknown, in the video, rally-goers are seen throwing water bottles at Hooper while hurling insults at him as police officers drag him inside the tent. Minutes before, another photo surfaced in which a person grappling with a police officer appeared to resemble Kenan Hooper. On the other hand, the shooter taken down on the rooftop of the nearby building appeared to resemble Maxwell Urich more than Crooks. Many experts have argued that the photo of the shooter identified as Crooks clearly resembles Urich's facial features. Crooks didn't have any chin hair, but the shooter clearly did. Additionally, the shooter's ear construction was noticeably different from Crooks's ear. Urich was also a member of the Clairton Sportsman's Club, like Crooks. According to a video by George Webb, the recruitment process for the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, or DHS, and U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, which requires training, takes place at this very shooting club. Webb suggested that it could be possible that both Crooks and Urich received training from this club to execute the potential assassination.
George Webb here at Clairton Sportsman's Park. This is, of course, the place here where our member is Crooks. Crooks is our member here, and I think you're also going to see Urich is a member here as well.
Maxwell Urich's ear was pierced, as seen in the photos. Furthermore, in the photo, he's wearing large studs. In contrast, the shooter's ear seems to have undergone ear gauge repair to close the piercing hole. It could potentially be true that the shooter was Urich because he went missing on the day of the rally. His family filed a missing person report on Sunday, the day after the shooting in Arizona. Additionally, someone has deleted Urich's original social media accounts and his phone is switched off. The situation becomes even more intriguing with the fact that Urich and his family are involved in the manufacture of explosives and armaments. They have been dealing with and selling these goods in Peru and Colombia with the aid of the CIA. The van found at the rally potentially belongs to Crooks, according to the FBI. However, its number plate is from Arizona and it contained explosives. In an unexpected turn, Urich was also found to be part of the Ukrainian army. He returned to the United States in April 2024 after serving in Ukraine. The van, which had an Arizona license plate, was later towed by the FBI. At this point, it's clear that only Urich was from Arizona, and Crooks had no connection to Arizona. If you think the shooter arrived in an explosive-laden van, you might be wrong. It wasn't only the van that raised questions when it was parked under the water tower. According to a CNN report, the shooter, potentially Crooks, drove a Hyundai Sonata to the rally. However, it was later discovered that the explosive-laden van had a bicycle in it, which was seen parked under a tree in a photo. This strongly suggests that more than one person was involved in the shooting. Crooks didn't act alone in this plan. According to a retired law enforcement officer, Urich also stalked Christina Applegate, an actress from the TV show Married with Children, and tailed her vehicle. Urich was consequently arrested and released a week later on bail. Crooks's phone was allegedly recovered and searched. According to the FBI, his phone search history included topics about the symptoms of depressive disorder, images of Donald Trump and Joe Biden, and the question, how far away was Oswald from Kennedy? The last question was related to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy by Lee Harvey Oswald. Perhaps after being a victim of bullying, Crooks found himself inclined more towards anonymity and therefore had a Discord account that was rarely used. It was later deleted or deactivated by the authorities after the shooting. Crooks had reportedly visited the fairgrounds, the rally venue, on July 7th, and then again on the day of the shooting. According to officials, Crooks also bought a ladder and 50 rounds of ammunition.
So again, with the caveat that we're continuing to do work on it, we believe that the first time he traveled to the grounds was, I think, a week before. And he spent roughly 20 minutes there. Then he went to the grounds again on the morning of the event, it appears, for about 70 minutes, I think. But again, I've qualify that. I'd have to go back and look to be sure of that part. And then he came back in the afternoon, so that would be, I guess, a third time for good. But that included things like this drone activity we just talked about.
However, the ladder was never discovered at the site of the shooter's body, but an AR-15 rifle was shown in the body cam footage alongside a gray remote transmitter intended to blow up the van and a black cell phone. 2 hours before the shooting, Crooks allegedly flew a drone to assess the area before executing the assassination attempt. The drone was later found in the explosive-laden van owned by one of the shooters. Crooks was also using encrypted messaging apps to communicate, possibly with other accomplices. However, the officials haven't yet shared which apps he used or what messages he sent. Just an hour before the shooting, at around 5:10 p.m., Crooks was noticed by a local police officer. Minutes later, the sniper team took photos of Crooks and shared them with officials. They later lost him in the large crowd. An hour later, the alleged shooter reached the rooftop of a nearby building and positioned himself to aim at Donald Trump. At this point, the rally-goers had already spotted the shooter aiming at Trump and began screaming to alert the police officer. Before anyone could intervene, the shooter ended up wounding Trump and 2 rally-goers while killing another.
So probably a minute or two before the shooting, saw a guy, gray shirt, climbing up the metal roof on the building right beside us. And didn't know what he was doing, trying to alert cops and police that there was a guy crawling on the roof. And then we saw a rifle sling over his shoulder. And after that, a couple shots fired off, so.
However, the way the shooter accessed the rooftop and positioned himself to shoot at Trump without being noticed by the Secret Service has left everyone questioning the standards of security. The most perplexing part is the building on which the shooter was positioned. It was partially owned by BlackRock, an American asset management company, through a subsidiary called American Glass Research. The building was later strictly guarded by the Pennsylvania Police Department, even though there wasn't much evidence that could be used in the case. In addition, Crooks had also appeared in a BlackRock commercial in 2022, which was filmed at a school. The ad was then immediately pulled from circulation and later resurfaced on the X platform. With these discoveries coming to light, people are left dumbfounded about who the real shooter could be. To add to the confusion, a new photo of Crooks has emerged on X, in which he appears to be an entirely different person from the one frequently shared online. Everything takes a twisted turn when a video surfaces showing the Secret Service snipers being shot at. The shooter was reportedly taken down by a Secret Service sniper almost immediately after the shooting, according to many news reports, but a video from the rally shows the snipers being targeted. This raises questions about who else could have been involved in the shooting, besides Crooks or another shooter who covered for the assassin and attempted to shoot down the snipers. While the media mentioned only 3 people getting wounded or killed, a video captured by someone at the rally suggests otherwise. In this video, a man in a white shirt collapses after being shot in the abdomen. This is the first shot. In the second video, filmed from a different position and place, shows two people collapsing after being hit by bullets. These are perhaps the first and second shots. In the third wide-angle video, we can see Corey Comparator being shot from a distance, alongside other shots, including the man in the white shirt. The explainer or model video perfectly shows how the shots were fired from the rooftop, passing through Trump and then hitting other people. However, this video lacks one thing: the depiction of the man in the white shirt getting shot. Many experts say this might be due to the fact that these shots were from the tower, fired by another shooter, and not from the rooftop. Even the media didn't cover this man getting shot. Since the van had explosives in it, Crooks and his potential accomplices allegedly planned to go further. The suspects had potentially planned and attempted to blow up the water tower after the assassination. During the assassination attempt, the van was seen parked below the water tower, which was later relocated a few miles away as the shooting didn't go as planned. In audio retrieved from the body cam footage, police officials are heard talking about a suspect on the water tower. A police officer said, "Shots fired toward the blue water tank, and I got one down on the inside." This suggests that there was more than one shooter involved in this scenario, which isn't being discussed openly.
Shots fired towards the blue water tank, that's right.
I got one down on the inside. Medical crew, get in command. Medical crew, get in command. Chief 12-3, let me know what you need.
All EMS crews, get inside buildings. Stay secure inside buildings.
Total 1 to all units, be advised, we're evacuating. Stay inside the building. We're evacuating the crowd.
Copy, crowd is evacuating.
Another theory suggests that if it was Crooks or someone else who shot at Trump from the building's rooftop, Trump wouldn't have been shot in his right ear. As seen in the photo, the angles of the shots from both the rooftop and the water tower shift the story in different directions. Experts say Trump was more likely shot from the water tower, not from the rooftop.
Sharpshooter shot to the left. He killed the gentleman in the water tower here.
With all of these theories and visual evidence, Trump's shooting story is taking a significant turn. Whether it was Crooks on the rooftop or not, it is possible that Crooks wasn't the only one involved in this whole shooting scenario, as the situation leaves us questioning the entire shooting event. Google is doing its thing, and we don't know why.